Thank you for checking out this book review of Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. If you find value in this review, please do other people a favor and hit that like button, because that helps more people find this review too. Much appreciated. And if you want to own your own copy or listen to it on audio, which is my personal preference, links to the book are in the description. A quick note before we start, this review contains no spoilers. Even the images, most of which are AI, are crafted to not reveal anything critical from the actual story. Let me start by saying that Sunrise on the Reaping is everything I didn't know I needed. Hey, listen, if you're a fan of the Hunger Games series, this book is like stepping back into Panem, but with a fresh perspective that feels nostalgic, but also entirely new. Suzanne Collins delivers another story that is as gripping and as brutal and as thought-provoking as her original trilogy. For those wondering where this book lands in the timeline, Sunrise on the Reaping is a prequel set 24 years before Katniss Everdeen volunteers as tribute. It takes place during the 50th Hunger Games, also known as the Second Quarter Quell, and we focus on Haymitch Abernathy, the sarcastic, damaged mentor we all came to both respect and kind of pity in the original series. This is Haymitch's story. We experience his rise as an underdog in District 12 to a victor in the Capitol's twisted battle of survival. If you've ever wanted to understand what shaped Haymitch into the cynical mentor we meet later, this book shows us in ways that are just heartbreaking and also captivating. Before we get into the meat of the story, let's talk about the author. Suzanne Collins grew up in a military family, moving frequently and absorbing stories about war and history from her father, who was a soldier and also a historian. This background must have influenced her writing, as her works tend to explore themes like conflict, power, war, and survival. Before the Hunger Games, she gained recognition from her series, The Underland Chronicles. But it was Katniss Everdeen's story that made her famous. With over 100 million copies of the Hunger Games books sold worldwide, Collins has definitely cemented herself as one of the most important voices in dystopian fiction. Without giving too much away, Sunrise on the Reaping is an unflinching look at what it takes to survive, not just physically, but also emotionally. Haymitch's journey through the Hunger Games is harrowing, which we would expect, but it's also deeply personal. The Capitol's cruelty is on full display here, with new twists introduced for this special edition of the games that makes survival even more horrifying. Through Haymitch's eyes, we see not only the brutality of the arena, which we already knew, but also a psychological toll it takes on those forced to participate. Collins does a good job of weaving themes of propaganda and power into the narrative. The Capitol doesn't just kill tributes, it manipulates their stories for entertainment and for control. This book digs deep into how those narratives are shaped and how history is written by those in power, a theme that feels eerily relevant even today. Critics are, not surprisingly, raving about this book, and for good reason. The New York Times called it a propulsive, brutal prequel that paints a chilling portrait of authoritarianism and propaganda. NPR praised Collins' ability to make us think about history and our role in shaping truth. Meanwhile, fans are describing it as emotionally devastating and yet also utterly compelling. If you loved Haymitch in the original trilogy but always felt like there was more to his story, this book will give you everything you've been craving. Yes, it is a dark story. I mean, this is Panem we're talking about. It is brutal, and it's raw, and it's deeply moving. But there are still moments of hope and resilience that remind us of why we keep coming back to this series. The pacing is relentless. You will be unable to put it down or stop listening, and the emotional weight lingers long after you've turned the last page or heard the last chapter. All right, let's wrap it up. You can grab your own copy using the links in the description, and get yourself a box of tissues too, because this one hits you in the heart. And do me a favor, when you're done reading it, come back here and let me know what you think. I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts as well. Thank you for everything, and happy reading.